Okay, so these are artifacts. You have 5 categories. Starting with the Flower of Life. We have the Plume of Death, Sands of Eon, Goblet of Eon Otham, then Circlets of Logos. There's different tier artifacts or star artifacts. We have 1-star artifacts that don't start with a substat at all. 2-star artifacts, which can start with a max of 1 substat. So this 2-star doesn't have any substats. These don't, these don't. Let's see if I can find a 2-star. Here goes one. A 2-star artifact, crit damage. Only 1 substat. 3-star artifacts can start with 2 substats as a max. So these all have 1. I don't believe they can actually have no substat. I think they start with 1 minimum. And if you get lucky, you can have 2. There it is. There's 1. 3-star artifact, 2 substats. And then the same goes for 4 stars. 4-star artifacts, I think you start with a base of 2 substats with a max of 3 substats. So all of these have 2 substats. Pretty standard, this one. Luckily enough, we have 3. Then moving to 5-star artifacts. 5-star artifacts start with a base of 3 substats and can go to a max of 4 substats, like this one, for example. Now, every artifact, depending on the category, has different main stats. As you're seeing, these flowers have a main stat of HP, a flat HP, and that's it. And no matter what, or depending on the tier artifact that it is, or star. So, for example, 5-star artifacts are always going to start with 717 base HP, no matter what. 4 stars are going to start with 581. 3 stars, 430, and you can see where this is going, right? However, the substats can be different. I don't have a good example. Let me see. Substats can be different. So, while the main stat will stay the same no matter what, substats can be different. So, take this, for example, this Thunder Soother Art, 4-star artifact. Substats, base defense 5%. On this one, base defense is 6.3%. So it is a possibility to have a different artifact, the same artifact, same substat, but a higher percentage or a higher flat number, you know? That's definitely a possibility. This one has the same one, Thunder Soother, 4.5% for the attack, while this one has only 4%. But it is still possible to have higher substats. But the main stat will stay the same. The main stat will stay the same. The main stat for the feather is attack. So the main stat for the feather is the attack. Flat attack. And it's always going to stay the same. Flat attack no matter which type of feather it is. Now the last 3, the hourglass, the goblet, and the crown, these are the ones that have different ones. For the hourglass, we have base defense. We have elemental mastery. You can get base attack percentage. I believe base HP percentage. Base HP percentage. And I think one more. I think this is the one category where you can get energy recharge as well. Yes, energy recharge. Which is for your ultimate. It determines how fast you get your ultimate ability. Your Q. For your elemental burst. And I believe those are the only main stats that you can get, all with the same percentages as well. So energy recharge 6.3% will stay the same compared to this one. It's always the same. The goblet, you can get physical damage bonus, which most people opt for because it's the only piece where you can get physical damage bonus if you're using a melee character. You can get base defense, pretty standard, base attack percentage, base HP, I'm sure. But you can also get animo bonus. So if you're not a physical user and you don't want to benefit off of physical damage bonus, there are elemental bonus damages. Geo bonus damage. Animo bonus damage. There's Hydro, Cryo, and Pyro and Electro, right? Animo. Electro right there. So if you're a mage user, a catalyst user, this is probably the main stat that you want to go for on your goblet, because this is the only piece that will provide extra elemental damage. And then the last one, your circlet. This one is the only one that has healing bonus. So if you're a healer, as in Barbara is like the healer in the game, you're going to want to use healing bonus on your crown, because it's the only piece out of the entire 5 where you can get healing bonus damage. Also the only, because you can still get base HP percentage, base defense percentage, and your usual base attack, and I think base HP. That's pretty standard. But it's also the only one where you can get crit rate. So if you have a build and you have a lot of crit damage, but you're lacking crit rate, this would help you. You can increase your crit rate as a main stat, and benefit off of all that crit damage. Or maybe you have it opposite, right? You have a weapon that has crit rate as a secondary stat on your weapon, and you have a lot of crit rate, but you're lacking crit damage. This circlet, the crown, is also the only one that provides crit damage. You can choose between crit rate or crit damage, or again, if you're the healer, healing bonus, probably want to benefit off of that. I don't think there's anything else. So these 3, you mainly want to go for like crit rate, crit damage, healing bonus for the crown. Not really base HP, base defense, base attack, because those are unique just for the crown alone, you know? Yeah, I don't see anything else. Those are the 3 ones that stand out. So crown, healing bonus, crit rate, crit damage. Goblet, either physical damage bonus if you're a melee user, or if you're a mage, and any of the elemental bonus damages, because everything else is pretty standard with base HP, base defense, and base attack percentage. Or energy no. Energy recharge is here. And Hourglass is elemental mastery, which I have on Lisa because she's a mage user. Or there's energy recharge if you want to try and spam your ult constantly. And then I think that's it, right? And of course, you could go base attack if you want. If elemental mastery or energy recharge isn't for you and you're like a melee user, Hourglass is probably best for like base attack percentage then. I never really actually talked about this. We're rocking a 2-piece set. There's 5 artifacts that you can have equipped at a time. And each artifact, depending on what it is, has different bonuses for having 2 pieces of them or 4 pieces. Gladiator's Finale, for example, if I have 2 pieces on, we have attack up 20%. 4-piece set, if the wielder of this artifact uses a sword, claymore, or polearm, increases their normal attack damage by 40%, which in this case for Noelle is perfect because she's pretty basic, right? Her attacks, she normally just does a normal attack and that's it. So if I want to go 4-piece on this would be perfect. And if I want to actually swap these artifacts around, it's versatile. It can work for a polearm or a sword user as well, you know? There's other examples. We have Legacy Energy Recharge 20%. Elemental Burst regenerates other party members' energy by 6 for a 4-piece set. If you need more crit rate, there's Blood Soaked. 2-piece set of that gives plus 15. When your HP is below 70%, crit rate also increases by an additional 25%, which is situational. I normally just opt for the 2-piece set for crit rate if you need that. For the most part, you want to be rocking 2-piece sets anyways. Or well, there is a good 4-piece set, I will admit, which I did rock in the previous closed beta. Thunder Fury, 2 pieces electro bonus damage, 15%, and then 4 pieces increases overload, which is combining electric and fire, electro charge, electric and water, and then superconduct, electric and ice. Damage increases it by 25%, and then triggering any of those elemental reactions decreases your skill cooldown by 1 second. It only occur once every 1 second. So for Lisa, holding her E and doing that big AoE attack and hitting multiple enemies around me, as long as they have another element inflicted on them, Once I hit all of them, boom, my alt or my E that I just used gets decreased 1 second per enemy. We basically have our skill back immediately, you know? So very good. Very good on Lisa. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to actually find 4 pieces for a Thunder Fury, so we're rocking just a 2-piece elemental or electro damage bonus. And I believe the instructor set, which increases elemental mastery by 80. And so this is going to be the interesting part for upgrading, right? Every different star artifacts can be upgraded to a different level. 1-star artifacts, and I want to try this now because I haven't actually done this. I believe 1-star artifacts only go up to level 4. I could be wrong. Okay. The 1-star artifacts can only be upgraded to level 4. 4 is the max. And you get 1 substat added when you're upgrading. Now, for the 2-star artifact, it can go up to 8. So every star artifact, every star increase can go up an extra plus 4 levels. And every 4 levels you get... Oh, wait, no, actually, it caps at 4 as well. Interesting. So 1-star and 2-star, that's new to me. 1-star and 2-star caps at 4. Whereas the 3 stars cap at 12. 4 stars cap at 16, and 5-star artifacts cap at 20. And now you might think that I just wasted XP and fodder leveling up those 2 1-star artifacts. No. All that XP, gold, and fodder that I used inside the artifact can be used, it can be transferred, recycled, as you would say, to another artifact. So for example, right, we have, let's go for a flower, right? Go for a flower. Or better yet, let me see. We should have a crown, right? So for example, we have crit rate on this. That's plus 12. And we have crit rate on this. Both plus 12. As you can see, it's not equipped on any of my characters. And the crit rate is stuck at 16.5%. Normally, I'd want to go for a crit rate on a 4-star hat because I'll be able to have a better percentage on the hat, yeah? Versus just 16.5%. We can have way more because we're capped at 12. Level 12 on a 3-star, whereas on a 4-star I can go to 16. So if I wanted to upgrade this hat, for example, and I wanted to use, if I wanted to level this up by myself without using those items as fodder, I could throw in a bunch of 1-stars, right? Auto add, it costs 2.5k gold. Enhance. I could keep doing that. I gain 1 level. And then I keep recycling or keep repeating it over and over. Gold increases, it takes forever, right? 3.7k, 5k for all greens. I could keep doing that. Or, which, as you're seeing, every time I hit 4 levels increments, we get 1 substat added. 1 substat added until we hit a max of 4. Once we hit a max of 4 and we upgrade, then every 4 levels, so every like 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, whatever your star artifact is and whatever max it gets to, we'll go to leveling up one of these instead. So now if I wanted to use one of those hats as fodder that's already upgraded as level 12, because I'm transitioning from a 3-star to a 4-star, I can say, hey, I'm not going to use this hat anymore. Let's throw it in. I get plus 6. I get plus 6. 6 levels. I only need to use 1,000 gold. That's pretty cheap, right? Compared to gaining like 1 level every time I use all my 2-star artifacts and I have to spend like 5,000 gold a piece every single time. If I throw both in, boom. Plus 10. We get plus 6, puts us to 10 or level 10, which gets us one more bonus attribute because we get it at level 8. A plus 10 puts us at 14. It'll randomly upgrade one bonus attribute because we already have our 4 substats. You get to 12, it upgrades something random. Only 2,000 gold. Compared to me throwing in a bunch of, like, if I wanted to use other 3 stars, right? Boom, 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 boom. 7,000 to just get 2 levels. So if you do upgrade an artifact and it doesn't turn out to be what you want, or later on you upgrade, you find something better and you're not going to use these artifacts anymore, they're not wasted. Think of it as you recycling it into your newer artifact and you don't have to spend any gold, right? The problem is you could get, like, depending on what star it is, you could get shitty substats like we just did with our base HP, 3.5%. Let's go ahead and enhance this. We got a bonus, 2 times XP enhancement, which can happen. I've seen it go up to 5 times, but maxed out. We got lucky there for plus 16. We got base attack as a random substat added, and then it upgraded our crit rate from, or that's our main stat. Our main stat went from crit rate 9.6, and then we upgraded our substat, base HP 12%. So we got unlucky. We got lucky to get a base attack added. We didn't get lucky because it leveled up our base HP substat twice. One for hitting level 12, and then 2 for hitting level 16. That was pretty unfortunate. And now if we're comparing crit rate to the previous hat that we had, the 3-star, we had what was it, 19? On a max hat, I believe that last one was 19, or it was 16. So 16.5% crit on a 3-star compared to 25%. You can see a big difference, right? That's a pretty big difference. So for sure, if you're going for a crit rate on a hat, always go for, or try and go for a 4-star artifact. And if you're trying to find different sets to use for your character, my best advice is to, because you want to rock either a 2-piece or a 4-piece, right? There's going to be one standalone piece no matter what, whether you do 2 2-piece sets or 1 4-piece set. You want to have a standalone. The best standalone is probably any of the last 3, because any of the last 3 is always hard to try and find a set for, because it can be anything, right? It can be anything. We got lucky with this hat because it was crit rate, but it could have been something like base defense that I don't normally want if I'm going to use it on whatever character, or base HP, right? So say this, look, Bloodstained Chivalry, physical damage bonus plus 20%. I want to try that out. I want to try that 2-piece out, but the problem is main stat is base HP. So if you're able to, what I would advise is have your 2-piece set. You can easily get a 2-piece set going for the flower, right? If you need to scrape up something for a 2-piece, the flower is always going to have a main stat it's always going to have a main stat of flat HP, less RNG. If you want to try and go Thunder Soother, just go for it, right? All you have to worry about is your substats and hope that you get better substats, which is easier than getting the main stat that you need, because then you have to worry about the main stat being what you want as well as the substats being what you want. So try and go for a 2-piece for these. The flower and the feather, easy enough. And then try and see what you can do between the rest of the 3, because just like the crown, how this is the only one that can get crit rate. And if you want to try and force a set, and you need that perfect main stat for crit rate or crit damage, you also need to do it for the goblet and the hourglass as well, because you need to get, depending on what character or what you're using or what build you're going for, maybe you need elemental mastery. But like for Lisa, for example, right? Let's go to Lisa. This is a prime example. For Lisa, I wanted to go Thunder Fury and Instructor set, right? So I gave Thunder Fury for the flower because it was pretty easy, and I gave Thunder Fury for the feather. That was my 2-piece. It was easy because the main stats were always going to be the same. I was okay with that. Whereas right here, this hourglass, I could have used Thunder Fury, but base defense percentage. I wasn't lucky in the main stat. So I opted for something that was just a standalone piece that doesn't match any of the sets, but I can still use it for the main stat. And in this case, it was the Hour of Thunder, or Soothing Thunder, which is Elemental Mastery. It's still a 4-star. I still get all that Elemental Mastery, which is nice compared to 99 Elemental Mastery on a 3-star. We get plus 51, right? And then for my Goblet, I use just base attack for Instructor, Elemental Mastery by 80, and Instructor set on the final one by 80 as well. Now I could probably try and go for crit rate or something else in terms of my last, but the Instructor set in the game, you can't actually farm. We opt in just for base attack for now until I can, because of this crown. Actually, this crown. So we have a crit rate crown, right? Thunder Fury, but we didn't get lucky with a 4th Thunder Fury set. So once I do end up getting either an Hourglass or a Goblet that's Thunder Fury that has the correct main stat, that's what we're going to be battling. We can slap on this crown that has crit rate and then go with a 4-piece Thunder Fury set that we want. We're just missing these two. But as you can see, it is hard to try and build and force a 4-piece set because of the main stat RNG. And in this case, I don't want to try and force a 4-piece Thunder Fury. I'd rather opt in just for the base attack percentage over the crit rate and then force a 4-piece Thunder Fury by going base defense here. I feel like that would hurt my DPS quite a bit. So don't try and force sets is my advice. Try and work with what you got, but be smart around with how you're building your sets. Hey guys, I just want to apologize if the video was a bit lengthy. I do hope it was informative to some of you guys out there watching. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section down below. I'll be sure to reply. If you have any future video ideas that you want me to do, cover anything, I'll be more than happy to do that as well. Yeah, thank you for watching.